Welcome to SaskPower. SaskPower is committed to environmental stewardship and sustainability, and as such, SaskPower expects you to be knowledgeable and aware of the specific environmental impacts and regulatory requirements. As a contractor working for SaskPower, it is your responsibility to communicate environmental responsibilities to all on-site personnel that are doing the job and provide material to the job site, including subcontractors. SaskPower is committed to the health and safety and well-being of its employees, contractors, and everyone exposed to our facilities, and the protection of the environment. We are all responsible for the health and safety of people and for protecting the environment. Employees working for or on behalf of SaskPower are required to conform with the Health, Safety, and Environment Policy, which can be found on SaskPower.com. SaskPower has several environmental resources available for contractors. These include SaskPower's Contractor Environmental Responsibilities Document and Acknowledgement Form, the Safety and Environment Rulebook, the Environmental Incident Reference Chart, the Environmental Beneficial Management Practices Manual. Contractors may have additional environmental training requirements. Contact your SaskPower resource to find out more. It is important to note that there may be project-specific environmental requirements in the contract that contractors must be aware of. SaskPower is required to comply to all relevant legislation. Contractors, vendors, and consultants working on behalf of SaskPower are expected to be competent to perform their work and must be aware of all applicable environmental requirements. The contractor is required to comply with all site or job-specific environmental protection plans, as well as regulatory conditions included in environmental permits and approvals. A copy of all approvals and permits must be on site at all times. The contractor shall comply with all relevant federal, provincial, and municipal laws, bylaws, ordinances, and regulations. These are just a few examples of environmental legislation that applies to the work SaskPower does. It is the responsibility of all contractors to perform a documented hazard aspect and risk assessment, or HARA, acceptable to SaskPower. Review the conditions listed in the approvals and permits while conducting your daily HARA during tailgate meetings. Environmental aspects and controls should also be identified at this time. When working on SaskPower projects, contractors must be aware of the potential environmental impacts associated with their work activities and follow the guidelines discussed in this video. Construction activities can result in the loss of valuable topsoil and sedimentation in water bodies, which left uncontrolled can harm the environment. Topsoil is the upper layer of soil and is rich in nutrients, microorganisms, and organic matter. The contractor is required to protect loss of topsoil by stockpiling it separately from subsoils. Sedimentation occurs when soil is deposited into water bodies. The contractor may be required to create and implement a plan that uses materials to prevent or control sedimentation and erosion. A site access plan may be required to ensure that access ways will not impact watercourses, wetlands, sensitive habitats, or cultivated land. Additional permits and approvals may even be required. Contractors will keep a photographic record of access roads, including water crossings, both before and after use to verify that there was no damage. Any damage or environmental impacts will be reported to SaskPower as soon as possible. Heritage resources are sites and artifacts of value for their historical importance. Common heritage resources found in Saskatchewan are teepee ring sites, a circular pattern of stones, arrowheads, and other tools. Known sites are required to be flagged off and avoided before work begins. Should you discover additional sites or artifacts during work, all activities in the area must stop and SaskPower must be immediately notified. Watercourses are rivers, streams, lakes, creeks, marshes, or any other natural body of water. They are also any man-made feature intended to contain water, including canals and reservoirs. Water may be in these locations continually or sometimes only seasonally. Any work near or in watercourses has the potential to damage the water quality, flow, or habitat and may require notification to the Provincial Ministry of the Environment and/or the Federal Department of Fisheries and Oceans. In some cases, a permit or authorization will be required before work can proceed. All permit and approval conditions must be followed when working around water. Sometimes work can be in areas where important plant and animal species or habitats are found. To avoid or minimize harming sensitive species and habitats, work will be scheduled around specific wildlife periods. Site-specific procedures will be outlined in a project environmental protection plan. These procedures may include reduced vegetation clearing to preserve habitat or relocating a nest. Rare and threatened species are protected at all times of the year. When work has the potential to affect a protected species, SaskPower may require additional controls, such as a permit or an on-site environmental monitor. Any incident involving wildlife or a rare threatened plant species should be reported. Birds and their nests and eggs are considered especially sensitive during the nesting season between April 15th to August 15th. During this time, nest and egg destruction is prohibited. Before beginning work, carry out a visual inspection on foot to determine if any nests are in your work area. If a nest or suspected nesting location is found, mark or flag off a buffer zone around the area and report it to SaskPower. Proper vegetation management techniques ensure the reliability of our power supply while managing environmental concerns, including habitat protection, weed control, and reducing the potential for wildfires. SaskPower utilizes a variety of mechanical and chemical methods to control vegetation on existing and new rights-of-way. Contractors are required to ensure that all vegetation management activities align with SaskPower's vegetation management policies, procedures, practices, and standards, as well as applicable legislation. If you have any questions about vegetation management, contact your SaskPower representative. Spills can cause environmental damage and include releases to the air, water, and land. If a substance leaks into a drain, it can pollute the local water supply. If humans are exposed to a hazardous substance, serious health effects can occur. As a SaskPower contractor, you must take measures to prevent spills and releases from occurring. All spills or releases, regardless of quantity, must be reported to SaskPower at the earliest possible opportunity. It is the responsibility of the contractor to properly clean up the spill or release and to remediate the affected area. All contaminated material from cleanups must be disposed of properly. The contractor is responsible to report any spills or releases above regulated volumes and all spills to water regardless of volume to the provincial spill line. All spills, regardless of size or location, must be reported to SaskPower. The management of fuels, lubricants, and chemicals will be in accordance with all applicable federal and provincial laws. All oil, fuel, and chemicals stored on site or transported must have secondary containment. It is recommended that equipment on site containing fuels, oils, or other hazardous materials also have secondary containment. Wastewater is defined as any type of discharge from site, including cooling water, groundwater from dewatering, sewage, and stormwater. Wastewater must be properly managed to prevent any negative impact on the environment. It is the responsibility of contractors to implement proper wastewater management practices and comply with all regulatory requirements. All construction, operation, or reclamation activities have the potential to generate non-hazardous or hazardous waste products. It is SaskPower's policy to minimize and responsibly manage waste. This includes recycling all materials that can be recycled, such as cardboard, wood, concrete, and metal generated on site. As a contractor, you must keep sites clean and litter-free at all times. The site must be completely clean and waste-free upon completion of work. Although we have preventative measures in place, the work we do at SaskPower does impact the environment around us. As a contractor for SaskPower, it is your responsibility to report all incidents regarding the topics covered in this video to your SaskPower contact or to the 24-hour phone line 306-566-5600. 6200. The incident severity will be classed as either minor, significant, major, or critical based on the Environmental Incident Reference Chart available on SaskPower.com. A SaskPower environment employee may be required to investigate these incidents to determine the cause and identify actions to prevent the incident in the future. Contractors are expected to comply with SaskPower lead investigators and answer questions honestly, and may also be required to conduct their own incident investigation. Wildfire season runs from April 1st to October 31st. As a contractor, you are responsible to adhere to SaskPower's annual Wildfire Prevention and Preparedness Plan when working on provincial forested, parkland, or vacant crown lands. Your company may use their own plan, but it must be submitted to the Ministry of Environment and a copy provided to SaskPower before any work can begin. In the event of an environmental emergency such as a spill, emergency response plans are to be followed. Your emergency response plan should be relevant to the work that you're doing. Discuss emergency response plans during daily tailgate meetings and with your SaskPower contact. In conclusion, when in doubt while you're working, if you have any questions or any incidents happen, contact your SaskPower contact. Thank you for watching this video, and again, welcome to SaskPower. Your SaskPower contact will discuss site-specific requirements as well as any additional training requirements with you.